Cryopreservation. Cryopreservation is a method of cooling and preserving organelles, cells, tissues, or organs at ultra-low temperature in order to preserve their viability. For instance, this method of cooling and preserving cells at a temperature below the freezing point enables a high rate of cell survival while thawing. It helps by maintaining the structure of the cells at a relatively low cost over an extended period of time. The core issue of cryopreservation method is the quantification of biological, chemical, and biophysical changes during the cooling and preserving processes. In recent years, the effective cryopreservation of cells and tissues has been steadily increasing with the help of cryoprotective agents and temperature control systems. James Lovelock, an English scientist, is the one who started this new technology. First, he comes with the suggestion that damage on red blood cell during freezing is caused by osmotic stress and the increase in salt concentration. This led him to experiment the cryopreservation of rodents and continue to apply the cryopreservation processes on humans, which resulting to 3 pregnancies from the insemination of frozen sperm in 1954.
The case study question is actually correlated to the events that happens in Captain America: The First Avengers movie. The first scene is when Dr. Erskine injecting Steve's body with a serum. This is when cryoprotectant, the cryoprotective agents being used to help the process become effective. Next scene is when the scientists discovered a shimmering red, white, and blue shield encased in ice. This is where cryopreservation process took place since the day Captain America crashed until then. And the last scene is when Steve awakens from a sleep in ice for 70 years. This is what we call as revived process, which will be explained next.
That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, I am Nuramira Atiqah, and in this part I will be explaining about how the cryopreservation works. So without any further, let's get started. The process begins when the body is liquid. The process starts within 2 minutes and not more than 15 minutes after the heart stops. The body was then filled with ice and injected with anticoagulant to decrease the risk of blood clotting and damage to the brain. Step number 2 is that the body is taken to the suspension facility and cooled to just above the point of freezing. The blood then was replaced with an organ preservation solution. In this step, we know that the process involved the removing of blood and replacing it with a preserving solution, or in other words, chemicals going into the body and blood going out from the body. Next, after the organ preservation, another solution, which are cryoprotectant, was injected to the body to avoid the formation of ice crystals in the organs and tissues. Last step is the body was placed in a tub and reduces to -196 degrees in a tank of liquid nitrogen. The tanks will keep the temperature ultra low. Do you know what is the cryoprotectants and why cryoprotectants were used in this process? Cryoprotectant, also known as antifreeze, is a chemical substance that helps to prevent freezing damage to cells or tissues. It will lower the melting point of the solution after the cryoprotectants dissolve in the preservation solution. This allows the tissues and organs not inside their cells to be liberated within their surroundings. There are 2 main types of cryoprotectants, which are intracellular agents and extracellular agents. Intracellular agents is the agents that can penetrate into the cells to escape the formation of ice crystals and the rupture of the membrane, such as glycerol, ethylene glycol, and dimethyl sulfoxide, or DMSO. Although extracellular agents are the agents that do not enter the cells by reducing the hyperosmotic effects during the freezing procedure. However, There are two types of cryopreservation processes in order to prevent the ice crystal, which are slow freezing and vitrifications. Slow freezing is a process by which the cell is very slowly cooled and then stored in liquid nitrogen at -196 degrees. This may influence the formation of crystalline in the organs and tissues in this process and cause damage to the structure of the cells. Now, how the formation of the ice crystals will damage the organs and the tissues. There will be a freezing thawing process at the slow rate of cooling, and as it happens, the ice crystal will form in the outer parts of the cells, allowing the inner parts of the cells to scatter, pressing against the plasma membrane until the cells burst. The concentration of the cryoprotectants and cooling rate is low to prevent the ice crystallization. However, these slow freezing methods entails costly machinery, long-lasting and unpredictable results. Although vitrification is the method where faster cooling is required and only takes minutes and not require expensive equipment, it includes the high level of cryoprotectants which can prevent damage to the cells. The rapid cooling rates result in solution insolidification into a glass-like structure where no crystallization occurs. In this method, it is to ensure that the rate of temperature change increases while retaining the cryoprotectants concentration as low as possible. So now, we know that vitrification is better than freezing.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day. My name is Iman or Aina, and here I am today, responsible on giving some evidence to the cryonics process with the aim proven that cryonics is not a useless science fantasy created purposely for the production of Captain America movie. Scientifically, preserving humans in order to revive in the future might sound ridiculous, as in the lower possibility of it could actually happen. Even nowadays, there is no such proof that humans have been revived from cryopreservation. In addition, some really be considering that cryonics is not science at base and has no capability of becoming one of the solid science materials until there is a firm proof on it. Although that with the presence of outnumbered intelligence all around the world, the percentage of agreeing to the logic of cryonics has increased, and interestingly, major of us already registered for the process once they are legally dead. Denis Kowalski, the president of the Cryonics Institute, stated that over 2,000 people have put their name to be cryogenically by his institute and continuously pay for the service by their insurance. Apart from those modern facts, the first body to be frozen is James Beckford, who was an American psychology professor at the University of California. James' causes of that is because of a particularly undefined type of cancer. James' corpse is being cryopreserved by the Robert Prihoda, the author of the 1969 book Suspended Animation, Dr. Dante Bruno, who was the physician and biophysicist at that time, and Robert Nelson, who was the president of the Cryonics Society of California. Not to make it this part long, but I found this quite interesting, where Nelson wrote the first book titled refers the first man inspired to the James Beckford cryopreservation. As mentioned earlier, there is still no proof that human has been revived from cryonics, as James Beckford corpse still being frozen and currently placed at the Alcohol Life Extension Foundation. Conclusively, even there are still some suspicions on cryonics, it should be considered as a firm science, as it eventually brought us benefit in decades.
Assalamualaikum and have a nice day. I'm Iman Syafiq bin Zainal Ariffin. I'm going to explain about the disadvantages of cryonics. This is all the disadvantages of cryonics. The first point is human cells may continue to age while cryonically preserved. Although the cryonics process slows down the metabolism of cells, it may not actually slow cell aging. someone may emerge from being cryonically preserved only to rapidly age. Secondly, cryonics interrupts the natural cycle of life. Death is a natural part of life. It is also one of the scariest things people face because there is so much unknown about dying. Cryonics might relieve those fears, but it also places a certain burden of false expectation on people. Next, cryonics may not do anything. The cost and work to preserve people through cryonics may ultimately be pointless. The theories might not ever translate into facts. Last but not least, it's very expensive. The price to use this technology is around $28,000 for an all-life service. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Allissa Binti Mazlan, and my part is to conclude our case study. To conclude everything, it is clear that cryopreservation process has been used to freeze human body and cells. As mentioned by Iman or Aina, there's no proof that cryopreservation of human dead body could be brought back into life. However, this process is actually successful when it comes to freeze human cells, such as cryopreservation of oocytes for pregnancy. Overall, cryonics is an area in which most of the work is to be done in future, and until now, the concept of this area has been proposed. That's all from us. Thank you.